Is The Water Babies a children's story? That's certainly when I first read it. I was on a beach and I'd been reading lots of superhero comics, and I picked up this strange book full of strange illustrations, and I dived in. And it was like reading a Victorian superhero story. You had a story of sudden transformation in which a little boy suddenly becomes a creature, not from the Black Lagoon, but a kind of newt-like creature who goes around fighting baddies, and like all good superheroes discovers that the real battle isn't necessarily out there, it's in here, inside yourself. But is it really a story for children? It's certainly bought for children, often still as a gift, although not all the children who receive the book necessarily read it. Well, you can see elements of children's stories in it. The first words are "Once Upon a Time," and the subtitle that Kingsley gave his story was a fairy tale for a land baby, the land baby being his son, so it was originally a gift for one of his own children. But a lot of it also seems to assume an adult reader. All those long lists of scientific words, all the stuff about evolutionary theory and religious controversy and topical satire and politics. Is this really a story for children, or is it just a nostalgic story about children, but really for adults to enjoy? Well, the answer is both, because children often do read it and do love it. They love it because Kingsley is committed to realism and he's committed to fantasy, and those are the two things that children love the most. And Kingsley often switches between them like someone tossing a coin. So a lot of the book then seems to be for children. It describes the world as it is, but also the world as it might be if the imagination was in charge, where if there is sea rock, then as Kingsley says, why shouldn't there be sea toffee as well? But there's also a lot for adults to enjoy as well. The satire, the cleverness, and of course the nostalgia perhaps for a more innocent time in their own lives. In fact, if you wanted to think about a parallel in other kinds of writing or other kinds of popular entertainment, The Water Babies is a bit like pantomime. Now, the Victorians, if they didn't invent pantomime, certainly popularised pantomime. And if you think about pantomime, it too involves stuff for the kids, and then stuff that goes over the heads of the kids that's there for the grown-ups. Pantomime involves sudden transformations. It involves a kind of higgledy-piggledy mixture of different kinds of writing, where you might suddenly slip from a bit of topical satire to a story to a bit of sentimental romance. The Water Babies does all of those things. Now, Kingsley himself enjoyed pantomimes. He was a little bit sceptical about them as well. He was sceptical because, as he said in one of his essays, pantomimes are fairy tales for people, but the real fairy tale, he says, is in the natural world. It's the fairy tale that's been created by God, because that's where you see the real transformations, that's where the real magic happens.